Hey YouTubers. Well, I've got sort of a different Goolrc product here with me. This is a Goolrc T5G quadcopter. It's it's kind of a hybrid quadcopter. It's a camera quadcopter, and it's also pretty fast to make it more of like kind of like a racing drone, as they call them, or the racing quads. It's really nice, actually. I've had it for quite some time, a few months, to really get a feeling for it and its capabilities and whatever, and be able to give it a pretty solid review, instead of just right out of the box, because I've actually had it for a while. Um, I have to say that I give it really 5 stars as far as for its price. Um, Compared to its performance and durability and fun factor, for that matter. I mean, there's other videos for this one, but let's just get into it like it is, an out of the box video. So you get your quad here, your T5G quad. This one's the T5G, not the T5. There's a few different versions. So this one's the T5G, even though it doesn't say the G on the windshield there. So you get the quad, the controller, your blade protectors, your batteries, extra blades, and the legs for the drone, for the quad, and then it has the camera pod here to attach underneath, and that pops on and off quite easily. Probably for a couple of reasons. One for user ease, and the other for when it might crash, that it doesn't end up damaging anything if it just pops off. So the controller is actually pretty cool. Kind of looks like a goofy looking robot face. It doesn't have spring-loaded throttle, which is nice. I like that, actually. It's in mode 2, I think, where your left hand stick to the left and right makes the craft rotate, and the left and right of the right hand stick makes the craft strafe left and right, or yaw, I guess it's called. I'm not a pilot guy, so I don't know exactly all the terms. Anyway, it's got some buttons that aren't really, well, it's got some that aren't useful, and in fact, mine, they've like fallen into the remote because they're just kind of, I guess, glued in place because they're just plugs. They're blanks. They don't do anything. These three do. They're not really explained too well. I can definitely tell you what they do, from when I've experimented with this device. The display is really nice. It's got the flip open screen. The display is actually large. It's like the size of a PSP display, 4.3 inch, I believe, and it's color. It looks good. The two sunshades here, though, I took and I cut them back some because they get in the way when you're flying the craft. Your thumb will hit, if, depending on how you hold on to the sticks with your fingers, either this way or this way. So I cut them back a little bit. They still work fine for sunshade. You can even actually take this piece off, and it's not even there. And you'll see the screen. Hopefully, if you're standing in shade. Anyway, the what I found was, let me just sidetrack a little bit here. The two batteries that it comes with. One is a 450 milliamp, and this one's designated for the drone. And this one's a 550 milliamp, and it's designated for the remote. And I don't really like that. I'd rather have more power or length of time to fly, in the quad. So I have been actually putting the 550 in the quad and using the 450 in the remote. The remote does use some power, but you can get like 2 flights out of this with one charge on this for using it in the swapping the batteries and using the quad battery in the transmitter. That's that little explanation there. So the buttons here, the top one and the lower one, or the middle one, are explained that it does the headless mode or the return to home function, and also the inversion, where you push it, then you flick a direction and it'll flip that direction. The bottom button actually isn't really explained, and I'll tell you what it is. Another video actually that I saw on YouTube does as well. When you have a memory card in the pod, the back of the pod here, I actually have the 4 gigabyte chip that it comes with. It actually comes with the little 4 gigabyte micro SD card. When it's in the pod, you will get the true 2 megapixel HD quality recording with audio. There is actually a mic in this camera pod, so you will get 2 megapixel HD with audio recording if you have the chip in the pod. This button makes it record video. You push that button. There's these buttons up here that when you have a chip in the remote, in the transmitter, you hit this one for pictures and this one for video, and it the camera pod relays signal to the transmitter and records video, and it's lower quality. I think it's 480. It's not as nice looking and sharp as if it were being recorded in the pod. So I always record it at the pod, and it gives you audio, so that's awesome. It doesn't give you audio if you record it down here at the transmitter. So you just watch these videos with a white noise coming out of your speakers. It's quite boring. I mean, you get propeller noises and stuff when it's recording with the audio on the pod, and that's fun. That's cool, and it'll actually pick up audio if it's loud enough, if the quad's nearby. Something like a loud car, or if you're filming Nitro RCs at the track. Anyway, not too much more to explain about the remote, really. You push and hold when it's on, and you just have the screen lit up. If you have a chip in here, you can actually go to a menu and then watch the videos that you've recorded, and or you can, like it is now, I can take it out, put it in there, and then turn it on, bring them up, and watch them here. But no audio, though. It doesn't play back audio. There's no speaker in the transmitter. There is a beep. There's like a piezo buzzer in here, and it beeps when you turn it on and off. So it's relatively a very nice quad to take video with. The button here, up and down on this button, changes it from 1, 2, or 3 modes. And mode 1, it's very sluggish and limited on the amount of output to the strafing and rotation, but you can throttle it up and down very quickly. It's basically for steady camera capture, I believe. Mode 2, it's kind of a little bit more reaction on your left and right strafe and rotation and your spin. And mode 3 is definitely for speed. It's fast. It's everything out, you know. So I actually enjoy flying it without the legs, without the propeller protectors, in a nice open area like at a park, and really opening it up and recording video of it flying around. It's really fun to watch when you get it back down on the ground and can replay your videos. The thing can do probably about 30 miles an hour with no headwind, and then of course like faster with the backwind, because I've actually had this thing flying above cars in my neighborhood driving by, and they do around 35. So it actually does fly pretty fast in mode 3, and it's really light. I mean, it's absolutely light. It's ridiculous. One thing I want to say is that you can get other batteries, ones that are, you know, a single LiPo cell, a 3.7 volt battery with the kind of connector here. It's like a JST or whatever they call it. Turn out the light, maybe you can see it a little better. There you go. So it's got a little bit of a ledge to one side than the other. It's like a key, as they call it, a tooth. And I went and I found a 700 milliamp 25C LiPo, single cell LiPo, with that connector, and it actually fits. It's very snug, but it actually fits, and it gives this thing like 10 to almost 11 to 12 minutes of flight time, as opposed to only about 6 minutes with the 550 it comes with, and about 8 minutes with the 650 that I have. I'm sorry, that's the 450. I have the 650 charging. Anyway, so you can get different batteries. These are cheap. I mean, this thing was like $8. And, you know, so you can get a handful of these and go out and fly for a while somewhere. I mean, as long as you give the device some time to cool off, because, I mean, you know, the motors will get hot, the electronic chipboard inside will get hot. But I haven't had it really do anything, bad to give it any kind of a thumbs down. It has a little bit of a tendency to, when it gets a little bit too much sideways, or even if you're flying around hard enough and it goes sideways or even upside down, even like wind even, it goes into trouble mode and will cut off controls to you, so it'll fall to the ground. That's why I always fly it around where I can get to it and over grass and stuff, and not water and not concrete. I just have fun with it at the park. It's, you know, like I said, it's not a racing drone, and it's not a camera drone. It's an in-between, just little fun drone, and they're about $64 on eBay. So I got one, and I really enjoy it. And it was Goolrc, so I had to check it out because I've been using Goolrc products in my other RC equipment and kits. So I give it a thumbs up. Definitely a fun little thing. And if you want to get into flying these, this thing's actually really nice to get started with, and then, you know, as you progress in learning how to control it, you can turn the modes up and have a little bit more fun. I mean, that's what I did, and I'm pretty good with it. It still gets away from me. I'll get turned around, and I'll just throttle it down and let it fall, and you know, go get it, pick it up, and start over again. You know, that's usually the safe thing to do, is just throttle it down, let it fall, and that's it. So I have a lot of fun with it, and hopefully this review does some good for those looking at it or who might have it. Leave some comments on some experiences that you may have, or issues I might be able to help you with. And that's it. So thanks, guys, for watching. Always thanks for the subscribers and thumbs up and any comments.